All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to IGTV. This is Mor Ahuvia calling in from RSA's Fraud Action Research Labs over in Israel. Good morning, Mor, and thanks for coming on to the program. We've got a number of different things we're going to be talking about today, and the first of which is bulletproof hosting. I want to give you plenty of time to talk, so I'm going to keep quiet. Go ahead, Mor.
Okay, thanks. I don't know if we'll get to the Rockfish Gang today because there's quite a lot to be said about bulletproof hosting and proxy-based networks, but we'll see how I manage with time.
Sure.
So first, let's talk about what bulletproof hosting is. So what happens is cyber criminals launch attacks. They have all this malicious content, Trojan attacks, phishing attacks, and they have to put that that content somewhere where it will be supposedly quote-unquote safe from the hands of law enforcement or security vendors like RSA. So what happens is they lease out spaces called, or they use services called bulletproof hosting services. What that means is that those services will not be cooperative if a security vendor like RSA sends out a cease and desist letter, because that's what usually happens. We send out letters to any hosting provider, and we tell them, listen, you're hosting content that steals people's information, defrauds people. People are losing money because of this content, and usually the service providers cooperate. They have no problem taking down the content, shutting down the domain, or shutting down the IP address that hosts the malicious content, and that's where bulletproof hosting comes in. Cyber criminals, can find these services in the underground. There's a market for it because they want to keep their content somewhere safe. And what usually happens, what usually happens is that if you want to take down a bulletproof hosting service, it usually involves law enforcement agencies or CERTs. CERT are Computer Emergency Response Teams. Every country has its own CERT, so it's much more time-consuming and more complex to take down content from a bulletproof hosting service. So as I said, these operations prolong the life of a malicious operation. Just to give you an example of why fraudsters are willing to pay hundreds of dollars to have their content hosted on bulletproof servers. Fraudsters can write code. They buy Trojan kits for thousands of dollars. They may infect hundreds and even hundreds of thousands of machines, and all the while they're getting a lot of sensitive information that they can subsequently cash out. Bank account information. So they try to protect that information by hosting it on a bulletproof server. So I think I've been making sense until now, right? No
Yes.
questions at this point?
Yeah, no, you've been making sense. Can you get into actually what is bulletproof? How do they define that?
Right. So bulletproof usually means that whoever is behind that server, will be more lenient towards the content that you host there. While legitimate service providers won't tolerate certain content, if you have a bulletproof server that's associated with what's called an autonomous system, or AS for short, then those autonomous systems are only responsible for the content they have there. So what happens is, say I have a bulletproof hosting service. What happens is I connect to what's called an autonomous system, which is a bunch of different IP addresses, and then that autonomous system connects upward to a legitimate ISP or internet service provider, right? So what happens is all these autonomous systems can basically do whatever they want until, pressure is brought to bear down on the ISPs for giving them upward connectivity to the internet. So if you think about it kind of a multiple tier system, you have the ISP at the top, then you have the autonomous system, and under that you have a bulletproof network. So what happens is the autonomous system is usually just as evil as the bulletproof network, and then once the ISP gets pressure from law enforcement, for example, that's when it will, disconnect the autonomous system's connection to its infrastructure.
Very good. All right. No, that was good. You had the time, and we did it.